What's up, guys? It's your boy, Benny. You ever seen the movie Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Did you know that that was actually a documentary? Because Texas is actually using chainsaws in order to now stop the massive criminal migration, the greatest single land invasion in the history of mankind against us, the American people, as Joe Biden cheers with the absolute and total destruction of our nation. Well, Texas is saying we are now finished with that. We are going to deploy the old Bowie chainsaw system. Check it out. Governor Abbott has installed circular saws between the Rio Grande buoys in order to maim somebody who attempts to climb over. I don't know about maim. I'm not trying to I don't think this is to maim anyone, ladies and gentlemen. This is simply a deterrent, but hey, listen, there's barbed wire all over the country. There's barbed wire on cattle fences. There's barbed wire on prisons. There's razor wire in war zones, and we are at war. This is what it looks like for the deployment of those buoys. These buoys are wildly effective, according to reporting. Check it out. So they float in the river, and you can make like a long line in the river, and it's like impossible to get over. You wouldn't be able to drive a boat over those, obviously. You wouldn't be able to climb over them. Ouch. You get hurt. And a lot of these people, a lot of the criminal migrants, and I call them criminal migrants because, well, some of them are really bad people, but all of them are breaking our laws, period. So these criminal migrants, a lot of them wander the river on foot, looking for a path to get over into Texas. And then, of course, Joe Biden ushers them in. And just as long as you don't go to Martha's Vineyard and hang out with Barack Obama, although who would want to do that? So this is what it looks like. And this is what they are now deploying. Now, why are Libs so furious about this? Here you can see a little more footage here. Them putting them down into the water, getting these buoys into the water. The Libs are really, really furious because these buoys are exceedingly effective. Check this out. Dems hate the Rio Grande border barrier because it works. If I've learned anything in studying and reporting on illegal immigration for 15 years, it's this, writes Todd Bensman from the New York Post. Champions of illegal immigration don't like a given new border control measure will claim that they never work. But the activists really know deep in their gut that the idea will actually work too well. They'll hard charge political propaganda and court campaigns to kill it. Case in point, Republican Governor Greg Abbott's new floating marine barrier. Last month, Texas spent $1 million to lay the first 1,000 feet of bright orange floating buoys, nets, weighted to the river floor on high traffic stretch of the Rio Grande, extending it for miles if necessary. It will never work, illegal immigration proponents like Mexico's president immediately yelled. Like Trump's border wall. It's folly, they claimed. Of course, they know that's not true. The wall, Donald Trump's wall, what was built of it, was extremely effective. And these buoys are also extremely effective. So now they're calling it extremist measures, and they're saying that Greg Abbott is a dictator. You know what I see as deeply problematic is these images of these people just flooding into the country. Look at this one. Here are some of the images. This one. These images of people just flooding into the country. I mean, you've had 5 million illegal border crossings. Look at this. People just massing into the nation. We have no idea who they are. We have no idea where they come from. And they're just walking around these buoys. The caption on this photo says they're looking for an opening in the fence. No other country is run like this. No other country has to live like this. This is specifically our country. So Libs are freaking out, saying that this is inhumane. This was a great tweet, man. Joe Biden has installed a spear-tipped fencing around the White House, destined to impale and kill anyone who attempts to climb over it. They'll shoot anyone who makes it past. This is premeditated murder. Photo of the White House and the White House fencing, which I actually know quite well. So what's happening now? Well, the border is totally collapsed. Anyone can walk into the country at any point. 5 million people have. That is a demographic shift that is overwhelming the largest cities in the country. New York libs and Massachusetts libs in Boston are now losing their minds. They're asking for a state of emergency to be declared, for Biden to shell out federal funds to save them, and now they have to spend millions of dollars per day, $10 million per day in New York alone, in order to house migrants, as local communities are freaking out about the loss of their schools and the places where their children play in order to build giant migrant camps in the city. And all because they lost their minds and wouldn't build a wall. All because they stood against Donald Trump's wall. And these buoys in Texas. This wouldn't be a problem if you just let us defend our border.
Look at these buoys. They do not have barbed wire on them, as a lot of people had the misconception that they did. However, if you can see in the middle of all these buoys, they have what looks like a saw. It's like a serrated piece of metal that would probably harm somebody trying to go over the middle of one of these.
Yeah, that's all you needed to do. But it was too easy to just call Republicans racist and to say that Donald Trump was a racist and that his wall wouldn't work. And now when you have an option that works far too well, what do? You scream for federal help.
All of this overflow has prompted Mayor Eric Adams to ask for a federal state of emergency and for Massachusetts to declare one as asylum seekers flood their states and sanctuary cities. Leadership pleading for help as the tab runs up.
If we don't get the support we need, New Yorkers could be left with a $12 billion bill.
That $12 billion bill, that's the cost for 3 fiscal years. At the current rate, the migrant crisis costs New York City $383 per family seeking shelters and services each day. With 57,300 individuals in our care, the city says that's a price tag of $9.8 million each and every day. A day after that public cry for help directed at the federal government, we are learning that Mayor Adams is set to meet today with Tom Perez, one of Biden's top aides. But it might be a little too late. New Yorkers are frustrated that non-residents and non-citizens are getting so much help when there are New Yorkers suffering. Protesters shared as much outside of a hospital in Queens that is set to become a tent city for migrants. Take a listen.
This whole thing is only going to snowball because the schools are going to open in about 2 weeks. All right. And we're totally unprepared to handle that.
Look behind us. There's a park. There's a YMCA there. We have a charter school behind us, a preschool on the side.
This is outrageous. They are putting non-American before American.
But as the bluest of blue states and cities complain, border states like Texas and Arizona say this is what we've been dealing with for years. The situation on the ground here, though, guys, like I said, hundreds arriving each and every day, and the city expanding into whatever space they can find. Tent City at that hospital in Queens. I was out on Randall's Island converting 4 turf fields into a 2,000-person shelter. City turning anywhere they can, but the residents here very frustrated with that sanctuary city status and what it means in practice. I'll send it back to you
Madison,
guys.
what does that mean for the kids who play soccer out there?
That's a great question, Ainsley. So I actually met a coach that showed up to practice on those fields, and he didn't know what he would do. New York, not a space with a lot of green space. Right. So you have to get permits, you have to get specific time slots. So he says each field is thousands of kids. Mm-hmm. So essentially taking 4 offline, you're impacting minimum 4,000 students in New York that desperately need green space for their mental health, for running around, for sports, and that's now gone.
And NYU, I think, practices there, too. Yeah, NYU, I think a lot of college teams, it's unbelievable.
Everyone I know that has a child in sports, they go to Randall's Island to play.
It's all about priorities.
Different sports.
The city's
exactly.